right, so when it comes to the eyeball itself, or the eye itself, there are three layers or tunics. The outer, or the called the outer tunic or outer layer. Then there's the middle tunic or middle layer, and then there's the inner layer. So first we're going to talk about the outer layer. So this white part right here of the eyeball, and actually I'm going to take this off for now, this white layer is called the sclera. And then this is supposed to be clear, but they kind of colored it in. But basically this is the layer in front of the eye, anterior to the eye, that is the cornea, okay? And basically those layers are made for protection of the eyeball. Then you have a middle layer. This dark middle layer right here is called the choroid coat, and that is where blood vessels are, okay? You also have this area here called the ciliary body, okay? And the ciliary body actually gives rise to these ligaments here called suspensory ligaments. And I'm going to put this back on so you can see it, okay? If you would focus in right here, you can actually see there's the ciliary body, and right there, those are the suspensory ligaments, okay? Because what they do is that they hold the lens in place. Now the lens would be a clear structure right here. It's just missing in this model, but it's a thick, clear structure that helps to focus light, okay? Along with that, this colored part of the eye is called the iris, okay? And then remember that the hole in the iris is called the pupil. The pupil is not a structure per se, but it is an opening, okay? And the contraction of the ciliary body, well, first of all, the contraction of the ciliary body actually controls how the lens is shaped, so how it focuses light. But then the iris is controlled by muscles, sympathetic and parasympathetic impulses that help to either constrict the pupil, which makes the pupil smaller, or dilate the pupil, which makes it bigger, okay? And by the way, I didn't talk to you about this yesterday, but there is what's called the anterior chamber of the eye, okay? I'm sorry, the anterior cavity of the eye, which is the area from the lens forward, this area here, and that is filled with what's called aqueous humor. And then from here, from the lens posterior all the way to the back of the eye, that is called the posterior cavity, and the posterior cavity is filled with vitreous humor. It's kind of like a jelly-like substance. Did you know your eyes were filled with a jelly-like substance? Yeah, well, in the back they're filled with jelly-like substance called vitreous humor, okay? So, anyway, so let's go back to now let's talk about the inner layer of the eye. So the inner layer, basically, so the space is the posterior cavity, but the actual structure right here is the retina. Okay, and the retina has rods and cones in it, which we looked at under the microscope, okay? Now, if you look here, does anyone remember what that big nerve is that comes out of the eye? Optic nerve, that's right. And where it actually enters the eye, that area right there, is called the optic disc. And when doctors use an ophthalmoscope to look in your eye, that's one of the things that they're looking at, okay? Now, this right here, again, it's kind of hard to see 3D, but basically this would be what's called the fovea centralis, and you're going to learn in lecture that that is the area that has the largest concentration of cones, and that is your sharpest area of vision. So that would be the fovea centralis. I'm going to try to see if there's any other parts that we didn't go over. Looks like I think we covered them all. Okay.